So Kana, thanks for having me. My name is Clemen. I'm the founder and CEO of Spiking.com. We are a fintech company based out of Singapore. What we do is we go after the blue whales, millionaires and billionaire stock investors of the world. Presently, we have a database of over 11,000 of these sophisticated investors in Singapore itself. And by the end of this year, we will scale across 8 different countries, 10 different stock exchanges, and we'll have the largest database of sophisticated investors. That's what we call whale watching. I think there are 3 areas, Kanan, that we are looking at. The first one is fundraising. Recent reports show that accelerators are pulling out. They are rethinking about their business model. As a result, it will have an impact on startups raising money. Second one is hiring of talents. This is a challenge. When we interviewed fresh graduates, it's always a choice between MNCs and startup. And of course, MNCs offer a much more stable outlook for them. So we have to cast our net wide to hire talents from overseas. Third area is building a product or service that's scalable worldwide. So most businesses in Singapore are Singapore-centric. That poses a challenge, so we really have to, as an entrepreneur, look beyond the shores of Singapore.
You talk about young people preferring to go to MNCs rather than to new startups. What is the reason for this? Do you see a lack of drive in the younger generation when it comes to looking for opportunities?
I think this really depends on the disposition of the individual. More often than not, we witness that they prefer a more comfortable outlook, not so resilient perhaps. But of that being said, of course, there is also a niche bunch of them who are startup founders, and we can see that in the ecosystem here at Block 71 community. So it depends at the end of the day what they really want out of their studies, completing university studies, and then coming out into the workforce. Do they want to join a stable occupation like an MNC environment, or a really test of the crunch in a startup environment?
With the accelerators sort of reviewing and reassessing their situation, where are they going?
I think for them, they are rethinking how to maximize their capital. I think that's important. One of the report did review that typically in the US, for them to exit with their capital invested, the incubation period takes about 18 months. But in Asia, in particularly in Singapore, for startups to exit, it takes about 5 to 6 years. So it's how do you get a higher return of your money that is invested into them? So that is a question that they need to think about, and for us as startup founders, we have to rethink where do we find the next funding.
So the next question is, what are you planning for the future? What strategies are you putting in place?
I think for us as a startup, first thing we have to do it right is find the right pool of investors. And this is really important because we must have shareholders that align with our vision of going public. Number 2 is we build a platform that's able to scale across different countries, reach out to different stock exchanges of the world. And third one, the hiring of the talents. Right now, we are investing heavily into good talents. We are looking really beyond Singapore, looking from Russia to India to China, many parts of the world. So how do we assemble a core team that's part of a key technology team? That's the challenge we have. And of course, how do we scale this across to different markets? That is also something we're working hard on.